Welcome to the Dallas Vibe. We're downtown at the Dallas Library, and we're at a book publishing book fair that is put on by Trinity Writing and Publishing. Miss Gina McGowan Cade is putting this on, and I have one of the authors here with me today, Mr. Darrell Hubbard, who has written a very interesting book called Blackematics. When he first told me that title, I was like, man, it's such a great thing because math is one of my subjects I kind of always struggle with. He is a math teacher over at, what school did you tell me you were? West Mesquite. And, our children right now, nowadays, they need all the math courses they can get. And he inspired me because both of my parents are teachers. I have two daughters that are teachers. And so whenever I see a young man like you in the teaching profession, it's kind of double-edged because I know what you're going through, but I know we need it. So thank you for being here with the Dallas Vibe today. And we're just going to go over your book. Tell me a little bit about your book, Blackematics.
So, Blackematics is a story centered around a math teacher who is primary goal is to instill confidence in students.
Exactly.
And so, in today's society, like the anxiety around math is extremely high.
Yep.
Not many kids have the confidence that they need and should have when it comes to mathematics. And so, this story walks through a classroom of 7 students, and as they're adventuring through the different worlds that they've been exposed to, they're learning how to gain that confidence when counting money. And so once we get towards the end of the story, they recognize that, hey, even though I wasn't super successful with this at the beginning, it took some time, and I was eventually able to grow and build on that. And so,
having said that, you just said something that really just stuck out to me when you said having to deal with money. And that's something that our kids are, not just our kids in the black community, but so many kids nowadays, they financing and trying to budget, and the world is getting even more complicated with trying to keep up with your expenses and just try to keep your head above water. That is so inspiring that you're trying to do that for these young kids, and I just really appreciate that. Touch on that some more for me. I like that idea.
Yeah, so with this is kind of like basic money concepts, and so they're learning how to primarily add, subtract, make change in a sense with money, and so we teach them about the different coin types. They learn how to have an interactive activity towards the end of the book where they can kind of go and practice those skills, because it's one thing to learn about it and read about it, it's another thing to actually put into practice. So having that application piece allows them to kind of tap in to work on the skill and build that skill.
No doubt. Yeah, that's great. That's great that you're doing that for them. Tell me a little bit more about what else are you touching on in this book, Blackematics.
And so, like I said, the main premise is that confidence piece. And so, if kids see and understand that I can do more than what it may feel like in that moment, or even right now, because you may suck in math, you may not be great at math, you may think that math is the hardest subject that you could have ever been exposed to. And what they don't realize is that with any good thing, it takes time in order for us to build and grow in it. There's certain things where we have the skills where we can just easily go and do it and just become easy. But there's other things it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more cultivation in order to kind of build themselves up into it. And so this book kind of helps show them what that looks like at the starting point, and I'm hoping to build on that as I continue to put out more stories.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that prior to the interview. I talked about how my parents kind of were a big influence on me because they were able to give me a little bit of training at home when I wasn't at school, and then also when I got to school, a lot of the schools that I went to, my parents taught at that school. But the other thing is, and you just made a very important point, is that getting started is always the hardest thing. And we talked about it before the interview. It's kind of like running a race, like a hurdle race. In other words, like if you're in track and field and you're doing the hurdles, that first hurdle, it takes a certain type of mentality to get over that first hurdle. But then once you get over that first hurdle, then it's easier each hurdle after that. And so you just said that, and that's a great way to look at math, because a lot of people, even myself growing up as a kid, math was one of my most difficult subjects to a certain extent. I think math and science are harder than basic reading and writing and spelling and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, teaching them to get over that first hurdle and get used to just getting to that point
Yeah.
is so important. I think that's so
Definitely.
important. That's a great thing that we need to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so just, man, I'm excited about the book. I look forward to seeing and hearing more about it. And definitely we could use more and more books about math with our kids nowadays today.
I agree.
Just a pleasure to interview with you on this book, and just I wish you best of success with it.
Yes, sir.
Keep up the good work, and God continue to bless you. So it's your book before we cut out. There it is, Mr. Blackematics, Money Matters, and
right.
it definitely does. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Have a blessed day.
You too.
Uh-huh.